Welcome to The Side Quest, where interesting tales of founders, funders, and everyone in between are told.
Hello, here we are again with The Side Quest. My name is Joe Colopy. I am the Grutbeat Godfather. It is Tuesday, March 10th, and with me on this lovely March 10th is Sonali of Primordial Ventures. How's it going, Sonali?
It's going great. We had a big win on Saturday night, so on top of the world right now.
I don't want to talk about it. We all know what we're talking about. It's the whole Duke Carolina thing. That's fine. We have March Madness coming up and looking forward to all the different teams playing. As you know, I live across the street from Duke East Campus. And one of the joys and painful things is when the game is about to end, particularly if it's close, I can just open my door and I can hear cries of pain or cries of celebration.
There you go.
So real it's nice time. It's real time. Nice to be in the thick of it. But awesome. You've also, so now we're kind of rolling into kind of a warmer week. Mm-hmm. I know you're feeling a little under the weather yesterday. Hopefully you're feeling better today.
Feeling a lot better. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we want to enjoy the better weather, but not a better person to speak about that than our guest this week is Nick Jordan, who rode his bike into work today. So let's bring on Nick.
Hey, glad to be here.
Hey, Nick.
I'm also an aspiring weatherman too, by the way, or weather person.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Side hobby business.
All right. Well, then perhaps you can answer me this. So my wife the other day asked me to bring in all the outdoor cushions, porch cushions, because as you know, in this part of North Carolina, we get that yellow greens pollen snow, or we will. And I don't know, when's your prediction? Like when that's going to start rolling in?
Yeah, too soon, and it lasts too long, and then it'll move to too hot, and then it'll be a few weeks of great fall, and then it's like fall back, and then it's winter. And
well, I think we should kind of like bet on when that comes in. So Nick, let's just get into the thick of it. You're tied into a number of different things. You have this awesome space that's in downtown Durham, not too far from us. It's kind of close to Ponysaurus. Maybe just give us a lowdown of all the things, you're like me. We have these little keiretsus, all your entities and what they're doing.
Yeah. So I'll start by saying thank you for having me on. This is the second time. The first time I was on was 10 minutes ago, and then I realized my mics weren't on. So we talked in silence and no one could hear. So round two, I'm pumped. 2 times in one day. This is amazing. And yes, I rode a pedal assist bike to work. It's nice. I love it. It's a huge unlock. It's really connected kind of me back to the downtown community, which is sort of a part of kind of the space journey that I've been on, which is it's always been a great startup community, an entrepreneurial community. Everyone's kind of working together. There's also human density. You bump into people at ATC or in the underground or just around downtown. But ultimately, it's kind of a commuter city. And, once COVID hit and everyone kind of, for the most part, I think, Joe, you mentioned you're sort of right around downtown, and there are some good neighborhoods here, but it's like not highly populated because there's not that much inventory. So when COVID hit and everyone worked remote, like downtown was kind of dead. And it was like hard to figure out where we should locate and what we wanted to do. And having my bike became kind of an unlock because it just made it fun to go down on weekends. It's like not fun to just jump in your car and drive 25 minutes just to park.
True. So real quick, are you down, where are you coming from? Like Southern Ground somewhere?
Down past South Point Mall.
So you're taking the American Tobacco Trail up and you're riding your bike on that? Is that pretty much?
Yeah, I'm like 80% on the American Tobacco Trail, about 10% or maybe a little bit more kind of sneaking through my neighborhood, and I kind of get on a trailhead, and then the other 10% when it ends at the baseball stadium, I just go up to Ramseur and take a right. So 8 or 9 years ago, I bought a building to move the office into for Smashing Boxes, sort of. Office in one half, rent the other half. It's a duplex. How hard could it be? What could go wrong? Famous last words. Everyone said everything that everyone ever prognosticated came true. One is you can almost go out of business with how hard these projects really are because you lose focus on your business. And I was a full-time project manager and real estate developer for 9 months. And that was on its deathbed. like so many times, like this project's dead or this is screwed or I'm screwed. And then they also said like, it's one of the, you regret it for 5 years. And then you like immediately like, I'm so glad I did it. So it's like, it doesn't pay off. And then okay, same exact boat. So I'm like, I was so just like starved from that. I'm like, I wish I never did this. And then now I'm like, okay, I'm kind of glad. COVID, and that's even with COVID. So I mean, all I had was an office and a realtor with a sign out. And then COVID hit, and kind of like wanting the revamp of kind of community and density, I pivoted my space into co-working. So we've got a co-working community that we're building.
So you started off, I know, for years of doing Smashing Boxes, which is essentially a dev shop, right? I don't know if that's a simple. And then when did you buy the building? Is it Ramsier? Is that the name of is that the street that you're on?
Yeah, Ramsier, 506 Ramsier. Yeah. SB started in, Smashing Boxes is a design and development shop. We're an agency.
Yep.
We've sort of had a little bit of an evolution as we're riding the AI wave. So, I mean,
sure.
That's pretty interesting when you talk about that. But kind of moved into this building in 2018. I think I was contracting and negotiating it all the way back to 2016. And then, tariffs would hit or prices would change. I'm like, oh my God, I'm way over budget. I got to like back out.
And when you moved in, you were looking at, I mean, obviously Durham has been changing a lot, but it was still thin over in that area. I mean, since then, Mescalito and I think a few other things have kind of come in.
It's incredible.
Right?
Yeah. There was nothing. I mean, another Nick on my street, Nick H. Johnson, was still swinging a hammer, finishing the Ponysaurus space. So we didn't really even have the token brewery at the end of the block. The police station wasn't here. Yeah, none of the restaurants, the apartments behind me weren't here.
Yeah.
There's now condos and apartments going on across us. So there's a lot.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still not there. I mean, a lot of there's a little bit of a false start with COVID again, but a lot of these big corporate headquartered, or not HQs, but East Coast posts that were promised, moved here, did something. They did some work, and they took down a lot of the apartments, a lot of the inventory. So these places are all saying they're full, but there's not that many people in it. So they're not empty. They didn't like lease 300 apartments, but I mean a decent chunk were corporate rentals.
For sure.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So they filled in with corporate developments, but they're actually sitting empty. So there's inventory that's not being used for housing.
Yes, that's got to be cycling through them. I can't imagine these are like 5-year leases, but I mean, they probably were 1 or 2 or something like that year like leases. And so they've got to resell those, but we'll see. It'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I think it's ultimately, I would have thought that there was a vertical stack with all of my interests, so they'd all be related and synergistic. I think now they're more like a solar system versus an ecosystem. Okay. So like they're kind of all things moving in the same orbit, but they're not like all necessarily like feeding each other, right? So space could feed, density of entrepreneurs and ideas. An agency could help, either consult or advise or just sort of like bring more masses and get people together with potential. And then we've launched a venture studio, Unbox, which is to, incubate, nurture, and invest into promising ideas and take them to market. So I was like, oh, this is all going to kind of like work together. And now they're just kind of, it's like all spread out. So I'm just sort of spinning a number of different places.
Yeah. So I have something similar going over in my world. I bought my building in 2019, developed in 2020. So maybe a couple years after yours, but it's kind of a similar vintage. And we kind of have more of a federation, I would say, like a loosely associated things between Primordial and Grepbeat and the Family Foundation and the Space and a few other things. And so I get it. So in terms of your world, kind of familiar with Smashing Boxes, when you bought the space, you named it the Durham Bottling Company to be a co-working type space, and those things are still very much going and active. Is that?
It was just the Smashing Boxes logo. That was it. It was just my office. So it was not buying it to install another business. It was just to be office space.
But since then.
Since then.
Since then. So you now have the use the big, because it's a big space, as co-working of sorts. And then the newest one in the third leg in this new stool is, I don't know, stool, tripod, or whatever you want to call it, is was it Venture Studio, a startup studio? Yeah. Is that the lingo
Unboxed
use?
Unboxed Venture Studio, yeah.
And so tell us, I want to dig into that. I've always been very curious about venture studios and startup studios on the creation side, and what inspired that, and what are your thoughts in terms of where that is going?
Sure, yeah. I have so many thoughts.
Okay, good.
He who knows nothing knows everything. You know,
well, here the show is called The Side Quest, right? So it's all about seeing something and following that thread. And sometimes those side quests turns into the main quest. And
well, in order to make apple pie, first you must create the universe. You know, namaste. So
there we go.
I've got all these. I keep going actually, but I don't even know if the last time I've read a real business book, but I get all the quotes. That's all you got to do. Just get the quotes, get the headlines, Cliff Notes. I was saying Cliff Notes before there even Cliff Notes existed. This is before chat. I just actually would look at the inside cover. Venture building and venture studio to me always represented a natural evolution of Smashing Boxes and the agency. We're entrepreneurial, we're like business people, we're like sort of seeing a lot of dots in the world and having resources and applying resources to problems that we see. As an agency, we provide services to companies. It's their product, it's their idea, it's their business. That's totally fine. But one of the things, I saw many things, but a lot of the times what people needed when they're sitting, on my couch and we're chatting, it wasn't just like the product. And I was kind of like, well, I'm sort of an underutilized resource here in this organizational and this actually value exchange. Like I have a lot of advice to give, or a lot of, maybe not advice to give, but like, experiences to share, experiences to impart, learning lessons. I love sales, and so like, but we're at the same time, we're we're delivering a technical product to them. So I'm really just selling them on our services when I'm like, and through my kind of advisory and mentorship and other little programs I do, I'm like, man, a lot of times the value I can add is just being an entrepreneur, being a hustler, getting to market, bringing the right resources together and helping these entrepreneurs and sometimes it's an entrepreneur, sometimes it's an idea, an IPs, helping connect some dots. So I was like, all right, that's I think where I want to go. I think, Smashing Boxes as a business is great. It's always been a fun platform. It's not a liquid asset. We don't have ARR. We don't have venture capital. We have key man risk, me. They're project based.
It's a design.
It's a service.
Yeah, that's fine.
And it's good. And we never were like sizable enough. I mean, it's like, are you $12 million sales on $3 million EBITDA? Then it can trade just as a company, doesn't matter, independent of industry or ARR versus project based. But so we just kind of never really checked any of those boxes. So it's like, all right, well, how do we diversify? Separately, these are, like I said, side quests. These are all little thought threads. So, on my home front, I'm like, okay, what do we want to do when we grow up? Like shit. I mean, some of it's like COVID, right? Thinking the kids are home. Like, I like this. Should we just still fucking just sell everything? Like, and just like live off the land? I mean, if there's any, the people that know me, there's plenty of people that know me, they watch this, they're laughing and they're probably like, I've heard this 10,000 times. Nick is going to start talking about living off the fucking land and using dollars to burn for kindling in your food. Like, I was like, because we might not need anything. But like, first of all, I'm not even handy.
Yeah, these are.
I can't even live off the land. I don't even know how to survive.
There was so much there. I think it's fair to say that if it were a simulation, we were all supposed to like live off the land. That the little simulation would end very quickly. I don't think
I would be done. I'd be toast. I wouldn't survive.
So, but coming back to Unbox, so is the idea that you all are through, because you already have a lot of experience through Smashing Boxes and doing this. And it's not uncommon, actually, that a lot of design or development agencies extend into or become studios. That's a very common, if not the path.
Yep.
Are you all ideating the things and then building prototypes and then trying to bring in people? Or is it more about starting with the person that comes to you and say, hey, I have an idea, or I want to have an idea, let's work on it together? So is it person first or is it idea first? Because I see both models.
Yeah.
Or unclear.
It's a little bit opportunistic right now. And I think I want to have a process that seems like repeatable, but like right now, whether we call this like a venture partner or the allocator, if you just use another analogy, like it's really like our deal picking and deal flow manifestation that's repeatable. Sometimes it's a person first. Sometimes it's an idea first. It's all about just connecting dots. Sometimes it's an existing business that's hitting kind of some weird roadblocks and kind of can't turn the corner. And we might actually just bring them in and help them like recap, or sometimes if they have funding. If they don't, it's like, maybe we can kind of float this, run a few tests. And if we just waste the time and money, then so be it. But at least we learned. And if not, we've got something. We used to take on advisory, like it's really like identification, then advisory, then investment, and then spin out scale. It's kind of like the process. Sometimes identification is working with like translation or commercialization, like licensing and ventures. So, kind of being a layer on top of universities to say, hey, what are you guys doing? And can we prospect with you guys? Is there anything promising that fits our mold, which is we're kind of software and tech and startup-y. We're not going to commercialize a large medical rod that's going to go in your brain that needs to go to Medtronic, and whatever. So there's a lane that we fill. So that's really organizing around the idea or the IP. Sometimes there's founders that split up and like one of them's left and they're technical and need go to market. So we aren't even really bringing some of our more traditional resources. We're actually like, let's run the business side of this deal. So it's right now, like I said, it's a little bit opportunistic. I think it always will be, but we want the same ingredients. We want kind of a seasoned and sales forward operator. We want a subject matter expertise. And then we want to make sure every other thing between them and their outcome and impact is rowing in alignment. And even when everyone says they are, everyone kind of has their own agenda, even if it's all for the good. Like a lawyer, I want to get paid. I think you should do this way. A venture capitalist, I need merchant. Yes, you're successful, but no, my LP's successful. Agency, I want to hit the timeline and quote and make sure my utilization is high. Salespeople hit my quota. Like everyone's kind of not everyone. It's mostly alignment, but this is like full alignment. Yeah. So I think that's kind of the answer to
one way that you do that. So let's say there is this kind of seasoned operator who has this idea, or maybe they want to spin out of the entity they're working on because the entity doesn't want to pursue that particular angle. The difference between you all with the Smashing Boxes hat on. Smashing Boxes would be like, you want something, you pay us, and you get thing. In this case, and then you also might get some business advice along the way. In this case, it sounds like it's broader and it's more of an equity trade. Like, hey, we're partners here. We're in it. You're assessing whether it's worth it for you with the person. But, hey, ultimately, we're on the cap table. We're partners in making this happen. Is that kind of about it?
Yeah. If this is the Nick Jordan show, then, I would say this is kind of how we got here anyway, which is like ultimately through that like self-reflection of what I want to do in the world, which I kind of got off track. But like I like to roll up my sleeves and actually work. And I think I have more value to create with like my mind and skills with some resources in tow, in pockets. I have a little bit of money, but I'm like, I don't want to just be a capital person. I don't want to just get a job. I don't want to just be a consultant. I was trying to find the right fit. Ultimately, I want to trade. I want to make my reward commensurate with the value I create.
Sure.
And so when it goes back to the agency, like you're telling me ultimately you need a product, or you need software, you need design, and we will execute that for you. With the venture studio, like no one makes money unless we make money together. So we are business partners. We're like a operating business / holdco / a little bit of a fund. We're taking equity / a little bit of private equity, because it's like,
sure,
we're in there, we're operating. We need to take enough equity to make it worth our while, and to know that we'll have enough at the end once the thing leaves the nest, and then we dilute ourselves down. So that's it.
No, and that makes that. I mean, that is the model. I think it is one of the things when I think about the Triangle and North Carolina, and I think about the tech ecosystem growing. I think what we need are more specialists, in the sense of not just more investors. We need more specific investors of different styles and different domains that are kind of focused and provide expertise. So down that thread, there are lots of different tech companies, and there are lots of different types of software companies. I'm sure you could do a lot of different kinds, but do you find that there's a sweet spot of certain styles in terms of we tend to focus on these type of customers, or maybe certain horizontal layers where it's like we tend to do SMB products, or we tend to be consumer products? Anything within that world that you personally just like, I really get into this style. I think we can add the most value in this style.
Yeah. That's a great question. Yes and no. I mean, like sometimes with marketing and whatnot, there's horizontals and there's verticals, so like, oh, my vertical is healthcare, versus a horizontal might be like, well, I'm the API layer, I'm the, we specialize in front ends or design. Like those are like skills that apply to many things. So this isn't even a direct answer. I mean, I think some of our specialty, like my special sauce, is just like entrepreneurial hustle and entrepreneurial spirit, which means I can kind of figure out a lot of things, and I'm a jack of many trades, master of none, like absolutely none. Like,
well, it makes you an entrepreneur, right?
I'm like, I have no skills. I can't even freaking put together an IKEA furniture set, and the instructions are right there. Like I freaking space out. I was like, I freaks out. I glitch. But So what does that mean? Like, there are other things. Like, I'm not good at like direct to consumer or consumer products, manufacturer, landed cost, et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking to somebody about a deal in that space right now on my bike ride in, and we've got a meeting with a big manufacturer overseas.
Wait. So are you talking while you're riding your bike?
Yeah. I've had to like tinker with like which AirPod models are great because they don't actually advertise, but some of the like the nicer ones, the pros have better mics. And so the mic, it's not about the ear. It's like, oh, it's a more soundproof, but like the mics have a higher quality. They can do some filtration.
So, and I know we're going on a thread here, but I ride a motorcycle and I often underneath my full face helmet. So speaking's difficult. I wear the AirPods and it's great because for Google Maps, like it's mainly off, but then it pipes in every once in a while when I take a left turn. In your case, you're riding a bike, so you're wearing a bike helmet. So the AirPods are sitting underneath the helmet, right?
Yeah.
And they don't fly off or anything like that?
I've lost my share of AirPods.
Okay.
In general, no, but like sometimes they will fly off and I'm like, oh, shit, where to go? Now they play a sound, by the way. They play a sound. So like if you like catch it right away, it's just right there and you play a little sound and you can like find it.
Fair enough. So you got to take some hits every once in a while. But when you're biking and when you're talking, are you in like electric mode or I thought just in the wind, it would be kind of difficult for someone to hear you.
The pros are fine. I mean, I'm not going to talk to like a prospective client or some, emissary from abroad. Like, I mean, if it's very important, I've got to be like locked in, but if it's just chatting with teams and stuff, it's very functional.
Okay.
I use voice memos a lot. So like, it's very audible and it just blocks it out. I've definitely, had a few L's on the end, but no, they're all each like right, left. One time I'm like, oh God, I lost my case on the trail. And I saw it was at my house. I'm like, oh, phew, I just forgot to pack it. Like I was talking and got busy. The bigger problem I've had is like, I'll be multitasking. I'll forget to like even put my helmet on. I'm like halfway down the road. I'm like, I knew I forgot something, my helmet.
Nick, how have you, no things wrong, but like, how have you gotten this far in life? I mean, you seem to mention the PSA, you're losing hair pop up to right, you're biking without helmets. You're wondering if you can live off the land. Short answer, no.
No.
But hey, somehow you have these flourishing businesses. So So I think the entrepreneurial thought and hustle definitely is producing some very real things.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, hopefully, I don't know if that was seeking a true answer because I don't know, right? I mean, I'm still trying to figure it out. Still trying to figure out where I can kind of like get leverage and like apply my magic and ultimately like live a life of fulfillment and purpose. Not just like it's not that it is a challenge that we have kind of in life. And I mean, I think the younger generations are even worse at this, which is like, it's sort of like, we're kind of at the like crux of like, well, do we just keep plowing ahead because that's what you're supposed to do versus you're supposed to question everything?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've kind of always lived the question everything. And there is lots of seasons and lots of conversations that are absolutely counterproductive and circular, but like, it's like, I'm just never happy.
Well,
luckily I've taken many personality tests and my wife has read those. And so she knows like, it's just my wiring. It's not like I'm not happy with you per se. It's like, I'm just never happy, but it's not happy. It's not the right word. It's like,
it's probably not a good wife conversation, but I think that's what makes an entrepreneur, right? Like there's an inherent innate curiosity of trying different things and wondering. And I think things come out of that, right? And you have to be prepared for a lot of things not to come out of that, but it's kind of the thrill of the journey, I think, which is how a lot of interesting things start. Now, after a while, there might be people with more predictable backgrounds who grow from there. But I think the starters, the entrepreneurs are really, you exactly fit that profile. So the fact that you help others through Unbox makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, I know we're sort of coming on time. I don't have a hard stop or anything, but I want to, make an advertisement, not just for Unbox, but for this venture studio in general, because I think it's kind of it's an interesting layer in the overall ecosystem stack, right? Because it's like, I don't have one special skill. I don't have one special industry or niche. I'm not a specialist, but like but it's still like in a very important process to go from something to that next thing. And so if I can just help more things get from that something to that next thing.
Like 0 to 1.
Yeah, then that's that thing. And it's not always 0 to 1. Sometimes it's just they're already like 0.5 and they got to go to 1.5. Or like even the direct to consumer things. There's a guy who's got a warehouse thing. They've done a big direct to consumer business. there's a manufacturer, there's product, there's already supply chain, but they're like, we have no idea how to put the deal together and think about the questions and due diligence. We've never done M&A. And so like, it's like, well, I actually have a whole other role that has nothing to do with, and they're great at like go to market on Meta and advertising. And, I was like, shit, you're a perfect operator for this. It's not your space. It's not the same product line, ... It's like, okay, well, now I'm in that business. Maybe we'll see today, ideally. But like that layer, I think is good. And I think I want to make sure that not more people do it, but like it is of value because even with the investors, do we need more investors in the area? Well, I don't know. We need more capital in the area, maybe more wide numbers of investors so that everyone isn't pitching the same LPs, whether they're in a fund or whether you're a startup going direct to them, more people interested in the space. But to me, going back to why am I doing this, this is like the single biggest lever I think I could have that rewards me and the community and my stakeholders of partners, friends, people that I'm engaging with is actually let's all be successful together. We're going to create more impact. We'll create more jobs. Your business is more likely to be successful if I can kind of apply my skills and it's in an alignment way that, I don't get anything if we don't win. And then at the end of the day, like, yeah, do I want to I love doing content. Can I be more of a, advertisement for the triangle, for the ecosystem? Well, yeah, but like, shit, man, I'm still, I got work I want to do. I want to actually get stuff done. And if we can grow businesses, grow the profile of the area and help more startups get to fruition and get to the finish line, that I think ultimately will have just as important of a halo effect on our ecosystem as anything else. So I'm like, that's where I think I can win and really help the area win. And so that's why I kind of chose that as like the next iteration.
That is a great, I love it. And I think that's exactly what
I love you too.
Needs. Well, I love it. And it's good that you love me.
Oh shit, that was weird.
We all love each other. But on that note, I really, really appreciate you coming on and sharing a little bit about Unboxed. And we look forward to hearing more things. I love how you describe it because every great starting team and every team really needs, they say, a hustler and a hacker. And so that you can't get enough hustle. And it sounds like you and your team are up for being that hustle partner that so many early startups really need and so many entrepreneurs and really allow something to be created that wouldn't normally happen, right? Left with some devices. And so I think that's awesome.
Cool.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, Sonali. Thank you very much for co-hosting as always. And look forward to kind of seeing you more around the triangle.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Nick. It was great having you.
Yeah. Good to be here. Let's do it again soon.
Definitely.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. Bye, y'all.